when the lights go out for good, when supply chains collapse. When you're left with nothing but the debris of modern civilization scattered around your home, the last thing you'll worry about is updating your smartphone or streaming your favorite show. But here's what most people don't realize. Those old electronics collecting dust in your drawer, that broken laptop in your garage, that ancient cell phone you haven't touched in years, they're not trash. They're survival gold mines, and if you're smart enough to see them for what they really are, they might just save your life. If you're serious about preparing for what's coming, subscribe now. Because what I'm about to share isn't just theory. It's practical survival knowledge that could mean the difference between thriving and barely surviving when everything falls apart. Hit that like button if you're ready to transform junk into critical survival tools, and drop a comment telling me which old device you're going to repurpose first. Every prepper knows the basics: food, water, shelter, defense. But there's a critical gap in most people's preparedness plans, and it's sitting right in front of them. The average household has over 25 electronic devices, and when you factor in the old ones stuffed in closets and storage boxes, that number easily doubles. These devices contain components that are incredibly difficult to manufacture in a post-collapse scenario. Magnets, copper wire, batteries, lenses, circuit boards, LED lights, speakers, motors, and more. While everyone else is scrambling to figure out how to see in the dark or start a fire, you'll already have solutions, if you know what to look for and how to extract it. The key is understanding that modern electronics are essentially component storage units, packed with materials that took massive industrial infrastructure to produce. Once that infrastructure is gone, these materials become exponentially more valuable. Let's start with something almost everyone has: old cell phones. A single smartphone contains more than 40 different elements, including precious metals like gold, silver, and copper. But forget the gold extraction fantasy you've seen online. That requires dangerous chemicals and yields tiny amounts. What matters for survival are the immediately useful components. Every phone has a lithium battery, and even if it won't hold a charge anymore, that battery contains lithium strips that can be repurposed. The real treasure is the vibration motor, which is essentially a small but powerful DC motor. This motor can be used to build a mini generator, a small drill, or even a primitive tattoo device for medical marking in emergencies. The speaker can be reversed to function as a microphone, and the microphone can work as a crude speaker. This bidirectional capability is critical for building communication devices. The LED flash is a high-intensity light source that draws minimal power, perfect for creating a hands-free headlamp or a signal device. The camera lens, once extracted, becomes a magnifying glass capable of starting fires through solar concentration. And the circuit board itself contains copper traces that can be harvested for electrical repairs or even melted down for other uses. Old laptops and computers are even more valuable. The hard drive inside contains some of the strongest rare earth magnets you'll ever find. Neodymium magnets that can hold dozens of times their own weight. These magnets are essential for building generators, creating magnetic door locks, constructing compasses, or even making improvised metal detectors to locate buried caches or scrap metal. The cooling fans contain small motors and metal blades that can be repurposed for ventilation systems, water pumps, or wind-powered generators. Every computer has a power supply unit loaded with capacitors, transformers, and copper wire, all critical for electrical projects. The LCD screen contains a polarizing film that, when extracted, can be used with another polarizing filter to create privacy screens or even primitive sunglasses to reduce glare. The keyboard has dozens of small springs perfect for traps, fishing lures, or mechanical repairs. Even the plastic casing can be melted down and reformed into custom tools, containers, or repair patches. Now let's talk about something most people throw away without a second thought: old DVD and CD players. These devices contain one of the most useful survival components imaginable: the laser diode. A DVD burner's laser diode is powerful enough to burn through plastic, pop balloons, and even light matches from a distance. With proper focusing and power supply, it becomes a cutting tool, a fire starter, or a defensive deterrent. The stepper motors inside control the precise movement of the laser assembly. And these motors are ideal for building automated systems like solar panel tracking mounts, timed feeders, or precision drilling devices. The metal rails and gears provide mechanical components that are incredibly difficult to fabricate without machine tools. Every optical drive also contains lenses that can be extracted and used for magnification, fire starting, or building improvised telescopes and microscopes for identifying plants, parasites, or contamination. Battery-powered tools and toys are often overlooked, but they're packed with survival utility. Old cordless drills, even if the battery is dead, contain high-torque motors that can be repurposed for grinding grain, drilling by hand crank conversion, or building winch systems. The gearing mechanisms inside allow for massive torque multiplication, turning weak human power into significant mechanical advantage. Remote-controlled cars and drones contain small, efficient motors, lightweight gears, and often gyroscopic sensors that can be used for leveling equipment or even primitive navigation. The wheels and axles from these toys can become parts for carts, pulleys, or mechanical advantage systems. Children's electronic toys often have simple circuit boards with LED lights, buzzers, and sensors, all useful for creating alarm systems, animal deterrents, or communication devices. Old cameras, both digital and film types, are treasure troves. The flash capacitor in a disposable camera can store enough charge to create a powerful electric shock, useful for improvised electric fencing, animal deterrents, or even emergency defibrillation in trained hands. Though this carries extreme risk and should only be attempted by medical professionals, the flash tube itself can be used for signaling or creating strobe effects to disorient threats or signal for help. Camera lenses are precision ground glass optics that can start fires, magnify for detailed work, or be combined to create telescopes or binoculars. The battery compartments often contain corrosion-resistant springs and contacts that are valuable for electrical repairs. Even old film cameras have mechanical precision parts, gears, springs, and shutters that can be adapted for timing devices, traps, or mechanical repairs. Microwaves, even broken ones, contain components that are extraordinarily powerful and dangerous, which is exactly why they're valuable in survival situations. The magnetron generates microwaves and contains high-grade copper, strong magnets, and a filament that can be repurposed. The high-voltage transformer can be modified to create a spot welder, which allows you to join metals without conventional welding equipment, critical for repairs and fabrication. The capacitor stores lethal amounts of electricity and must be discharged and handled with extreme caution, but it can be used for creating powerful electric shocks for defense or deterrence. The metal waveguide and shielding provide quality sheet metal for fabrication. The turntable motor is a synchronous motor that can be repurposed for various mechanical applications. The door switches and safety interlocks are high-quality, durable switches perfect for building alarm systems or safety mechanisms. Old televisions and monitors, particularly CRT types, are dangerous to disassemble due to high-voltage components that can retain a lethal charge even when unplugged. But they contain valuable components for those trained in safe handling. The flyback transformer can generate high-voltage, low-current electricity useful for creating electric fences, ignition systems, or plasma displays for signaling. The degaussing coil contains thick copper wire perfect for making electromagnets, induction heaters, or motor windings. The electron gun contains rare earth elements and precision metalwork. LCD and LED televisions are safer to disassemble and contain large arrays of LEDs that can be harvested for lighting projects. The driver circuits for powering those LEDs, and large, flat lenses or diffusers that can be used for solar concentration or light distribution. Power adapters and chargers are often ignored, but they're compact sources of valuable components. Every wall adapter contains a transformer, rectifier, and capacitor, the building blocks of any power conversion project. These components allow you to convert between AC and DC, step voltage up or down, and smooth out power fluctuations. Collected and organized, a box of old power adapters becomes a complete electrical workshop. The cables themselves contain copper wire in various gauges, perfect for electrical connections, snares, lashing, or even sutures in desperate medical emergencies. The ferrite beads on many cables are magnetic cores useful for building inductors or RF filters. Radios, even cheap broken ones, are communication gold. The speaker can be used as a microphone, and vice versa, creating a basic intercom system with nothing but wire between them. The tuning capacitor is a variable capacitor, essential for building crystal radios that require no power source whatsoever. They extract energy directly from radio waves. The antenna, whether internal or external, provides RF-appropriate wire that's pre-sized for radio frequencies. The circuit board contains resistors, capacitors, and sometimes transistors that are the foundation of all electronics. With components from multiple radios, You can build transmitters, receivers, amplifiers, and signal processors. In a world without internet or phone networks, radio becomes the only long-distance communication method available, and these salvaged components make it possible. Solar-powered devices like calculators, garden lights, and outdoor decorations contain small solar panels that still function even if the device is broken. These panels can be connected in series to increase voltage or in parallel to increase current, creating a custom solar array for charging batteries, powering LED lights, or running small motors. The rechargeable batteries inside solar lights are usually NiMH or lithium-based and can be salvaged for other projects. The LED lights in solar garden lights are extremely efficient and long-lasting, perfect for creating low-power lighting systems. The light sensors used to turn these devices on at dusk can be repurposed for automatic systems, triggering lights, alarms, or other devices based on ambient light conditions. Printers and scanners contain precision components that are difficult to manufacture without industrial equipment. The stepper motors provide exact positional control, useful for building automated systems. The metal rods and bearings allow smooth linear motion with minimal friction, perfect for building carts, slides, or mechanical advantage systems. The optical sensors can detect position, motion, or light levels. The power supplies contain transformers and rectifiers for power conversion. Even the ink cartridges contain sponges and absorbent materials useful for filtering or storing liquids. Game consoles and handheld gaming devices contain powerful processors that generate significant heat, which means they also contain effective heat sinks and cooling systems. These heat sinks are precision-cut metal designed to transfer heat efficiently, useful for cooking, cooling, or thermal management in any survival application. The cooling fans can be repurposed for ventilation, cooling food storage areas, or even building wind generators. The controllers contain vibration motors, buttons, springs, and circuit boards with sensors. The power supplies are robust and designed to handle variable loads, making them excellent for powering multiple devices. Now here's what separates prepared survivalists from hobbyists: organization and preservation. Harvesting components is worthless if you don't catalog and protect them. Create a component library organized by type: motors, magnets, LEDs, batteries, wire, lenses, switches, capacitors, and so on. Store them in waterproof labeled containers. Document what each component came from and its specifications if you know them. This library becomes your hardware store when real hardware stores are looted ruins or inaccessible. Practice building things with these components now, while you have time, electricity, and internet tutorials. Build a simple generator from a motor and magnets. Create a solar-powered LED light. Make a crystal radio. Construct a laser burning device. The skills you develop now are just as valuable as the components themselves, because knowledge is the one survival tool that can never be taken from you. The critical mindset shift is this: stop seeing electronics as disposable products and start seeing them as dense packages of irreplaceable components. That broken hairdryer isn't trash, it's a motor, heating element, switches, and wire. That dead remote control isn't garbage. It's a circuit board, infrared LED, buttons, springs, and battery contacts. That obsolete tablet isn't e-waste. It's a battery, screen, cameras, sensors, speakers, and magnets. When society is functioning, these items have minimal monetary value, which is exactly why you should be collecting them now. Hit up garage sales, thrift stores, and curbside trash piles. Ask friends and family for their broken electronics before they throw them away. Build your component library while these items are considered worthless, because their true value only becomes apparent when they're no longer being manufactured. Safety is non-negotiable when disassembling electronics. Capacitors can hold lethal charges long after a device is unplugged. Always discharge them with an insulated screwdriver across the terminals before touching anything. CRT televisions and monitors contain vacuum tubes that can implode violently. Wear eye protection and handle with extreme care, or avoid them entirely if you're not trained. Batteries can catch fire or explode if punctured or short-circuited. Handle them carefully and store them separately. Some components contain toxic materials like lead solder or mercury switches. Work in a ventilated area and wash your hands thoroughly. Use proper tools. Screwdrivers, pliers, wire cutters, and safety glasses are minimum requirements. Never rush the disassembly process, and never work on anything still connected to power. The real genius of this approach is that you're preparing with resources that most people don't even recognize as valuable. While others are stockpiling freeze-dried food and ammunition, both finite resources that eventually run out. You're gathering components that enable you to build, repair, and innovate indefinitely. You're not just preparing to survive. You're preparing to maintain a technological advantage in a post-collapse world. The ability to generate electricity, create light, build tools, establish communication, and fabricate solutions to unexpected problems puts you in a completely different survival category. You become the person others need, the one with irreplaceable skills and resources, the one who transitions from merely surviving to actually rebuilding. Think about the realistic scenarios where these skills and components become critical. A prolonged grid-down situation caused by solar flare, electromagnetic pulse, cyber attack, or infrastructure collapse means all modern conveniences disappear instantly. Your salvaged LED lights powered by hand-cranked generators provide illumination when everyone else is burning through candles and lamp oil. Your radio receiver built from salvaged components lets you monitor emergency broadcasts or coordinate with other survivors when cell towers are dead. Your solar panel array, cobbled together from garden lights and calculators, trickle charges batteries that power essential devices. Your improvised tools and motors allow you to repair equipment, process food, pump water, and build defenses. These aren't fantasy scenarios. They're realistic applications of practical knowledge and resources. In a long-term survival situation, the ability to repurpose and repair becomes more valuable than almost any stockpile. Ammo runs out, food spoils or gets consumed, medicine expires. But a motor is a motor, a magnet is a magnet, and copper wire is copper wire. These components don't expire, don't spoil, and don't become obsolete. They're raw resources that can be reconfigured into whatever you need, most at any given moment. Today it's a generator. Tomorrow it's a water pump. Next week it's a winch system. The same components, reorganized and repurposed based on changing needs and circumstances. This is also knowledge you can teach and pass on, creating value in a barter economy. When currency is worthless and supply chains are broken, skills become the most valuable commodity. The person who can fix a radio, rig up lighting, create a generator, or build a pump becomes essential to any survival community. These skills make you an asset rather than a liability, someone worth protecting and providing for because you provide irreplaceable value in return. Teaching these skills to younger generations ensures that technological knowledge doesn't disappear entirely, creating a foundation for eventual rebuilding. The psychological advantage cannot be understated either. Having the ability to create solutions from available resources provides hope and agency in situations where most people feel helpless. Instead of despairing when something breaks, you can fix it. Instead of accepting darkness, you can create light. Instead of isolation, you can establish communication. This mental resilience and problem-solving capability is what separates those who adapt and overcome from those who give up and surrender. Preparedness isn't just physical resources. It's knowledge, skills, and the psychological fortitude to keep going when everything seems hopeless. Start building your component library today. Set aside a storage area, even just a few plastic bins, and start filling them with salvaged electronics. Spend time learning to disassemble devices safely and identify valuable components. Watch tutorials, read guides, experiment with small projects. The learning curve is real, but every hour you invest now pays exponential dividends later. When you're disassembling your 5th device, you'll work faster and recognize components instantly. By your 20th device, you'll have developed an intuition for what's valuable and where to find it. This experiential knowledge cannot be gained by reading alone. You must practice. Document everything. Take photos, write notes, create diagrams. When the internet is gone, your personal documentation becomes your only reference material. Print out key tutorials and guides. Store them in waterproof containers alongside your components. Create a physical library of knowledge to complement your library of parts. Future you, working by lamplight without Google access, will be profoundly grateful for every piece of documentation present you bothered to preserve. Build relationships with people who share these skills and interests. A community of prepared individuals with complementary knowledge creates redundancy and resilience. Someone might specialize in radio communication, another in solar power, another in mechanical systems, another in medical applications. Together, you create a knowledge network that's far more robust than any individual could be alone. Share information, trade components, collaborate on projects. These relationships become mutual support systems when society breaks down. Consider the moral obligation aspect as well. If you have the knowledge and resources to help others survive, You're making a choice about what kind of person you want to be in a crisis. The ability to provide light, power, or communication to a struggling family, to repair a critical piece of equipment for a community, to teach someone a skill that allows them to become self-sufficient. These are profound acts of humanity in desperate times. Preparedness combined with generosity of knowledge creates something larger than individual survival. It creates the foundation for community survival and eventual recovery. The timeline for developing these skills is now. Not next month, not when you have more free time, not when things start looking bad. By the time crisis is obvious, it's too late. Electronics will be scavenged, hoarded, or destroyed. Learning resources will be inaccessible. The time to prepare is when preparation seems unnecessary, when it's dismissed as paranoia or hobby excess. History repeatedly demonstrates that those who prepare early are the ones who survive and thrive, while those who wait until disaster is imminent find themselves competing for scarce resources with millions of other desperate, unprepared people. So here's your action plan. Identify every old electronic device in your home. Start disassembling the ones that are truly dead and useless in their current form. Organize components by type and store them properly. Learn one new skill per month. Build something practical using salvaged components. Document your learning and build a physical reference library. Connect with others who share these interests. Expand your collection by sourcing free or cheap broken electronics from your community. Practice regularly so your skills stay sharp and improve over time. Most importantly, shift your mindset from consumer to creator, from dependent to capable, from helpless to prepared. This mental transformation is just as important as the physical resources you're accumulating. And if you want to go deeper, you'll find in the pinned comments some guides and documents that can take your preparedness to the next level. Check them out when you're ready. Because this isn't just about surviving disaster. It's about maintaining humanity, capability, and hope when everything else is falling apart. The choice is yours. Stay dependent on systems that will eventually fail, or become the person who has solutions when everyone else has problems. If you're committed to this path, prove it by subscribing, hitting that like button, sharing this video with someone who needs to hear it, and dropping a comment with your biggest takeaway or the first device you're going to tear down. The world is changing faster than most people realize, and when it does, you'll either be ready or you won't. Make sure you're on the right side of that line before it's too late.